Oh, no, tomatoes in a barrel situation. Yes, I already asked that question. She is technically considered.
Let's move this. Did you see this? So I was thinking if you set up out here, there's a cable that comes out of this garage and we can bring it around here. I mean, this isn't that far from the road. You know, it's here. Really. So, is that what you were thinking, or what did you do? Did you look at this garage here?
I was looking like right in here, like more and more out. I just thought you were like in here at the bar.
Yeah, no, I was thinking you could put your trailer and everything down here, wherever. Because we can get a cable out here. The cable can only be 200 feet. It's probably already 100 feet, so we're not going to be able to go real far. Otherwise, we're going to start running into that. If you go to the other over here, we basically we have three of them. But they so we're in school. It's pretty fancy. I can walk out. We'll just meet down there and just meet you down. We can walk out on the road, but I know from this road, I can even see myself coming out this way. The wall gets higher than this, so we're in the hospital. You can see the grass.
Yeah, well, I just don't, you know, I thought we just
yeah, we'll take the cable out the gate and just come there and check it over there. Everybody's going to miss it. Yeah, you're just calling me.
Good morning and welcome to the O'Gorman campus. I am Kyle Gross, President of Sioux Falls Catholic Schools. We welcome our guests this morning, including our junior high and senior high students, as well as our representatives from our 6 elementary schools. So thank you for joining us this morning. We are extremely thrilled to have all of our students from our schools listening in this morning via live stream courtesy of Real Presence Radio. In particular, we welcome Bishop Paul J. Swain, members of our board of directors, administrators from all 8 of our schools, parents, and other special guests. Today is truly an exciting day for Sioux Falls Catholic Schools, because after a long process, we have a very big announcement that we'd like to make this morning. But first, I'd like to introduce Bishop Swain to lead us in prayer and to share a few comments.
Good morning, everyone. I like the energy in this room. I need a little of that energy myself these days, so thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to participate in this big day. I don't want to reveal anything myself, so I'm going to be very careful what I say. But let's begin with prayer, as we always do, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. O Christ, our teacher, you invite your faithful people to make disciples in your name and to announce the good news to the poor. We thank you for the gift of Catholic schools, especially in the Diocese of Sioux Falls, where the message of your life, death, and resurrection is proclaimed. Christian community is experienced, service to our brothers and sisters is modeled, and worship of you is cultivated. Increase our zeal for ensuring that all children and families can benefit from a high-quality Catholic education. The Catholic schools grow in their ability to nurture the soul of our youth and of our nation. We ask this through the intercession of Our Lady, Mother of Catholic Schools. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Just a brief preliminary comment. To say it's a pleasure for me to be here with you this morning. Since I became your bishop over 12 years ago, it's hard to believe, I've been impressed, very impressed with the commitment and the sacrifice of so many in the support of Sioux Falls Catholic Schools. And it is a sacrifice for many. Coordinated administration is of great assistance to pastors, and it tempers the natural human competitive nature, so the Catholic schools, each independent and uniquely parish ways, also communicate and mutually support one another, and join together at the junior and senior high levels. When established decades ago, it was forward-looking and proactive. Much has changed over those years. The city of Sioux Falls was once kind of an island, but is now surrounded by a vibrant metropolitan area. For several years, the school board and administration have undertaken long-term planning to adapt to the changing demographics and educational approaches without compromising Catholic identity, which is the core of Catholic schools. Among the new visionary conclusions is the desire to offer the gift of Catholic education to surrounding parishes without their surrendering individual identities or community focus. About a year ago, President Gross came to me with a concern which surfaced from these long-term planning exercises. They included that many in the community did not understand that our schools is a complete school system, including preschool through high school, and that needs to be shared more fully. And the desire, even responsibility, to offer Catholic education for students outside of the city boundaries of Sioux Falls, in communities such as T and Harrisburg, Brandon, and more. So several options were presented to address these concerns. The announcement to be made in a few minutes is a first step in addressing them. Let me affirm as Bishop my support for the process and the decision being presented today. Visionary planning must and will continue. And this step reaffirms that we all look to the future with hope, grounded in the truth that our hope is in the resurrected Christ who is with us today. Thank you, and may Our Lady watch over you.
Thank you, Bishop Swain, and again, thank you for your continued support and commitment to our Catholic school system. What Bishop Swain is referring to is a process that we undertook beginning in the school year of 2017-18, where we devised two committees, an internal committee as well as an ad hoc committee, and solicited the help of Daryl Thuringer, Director of Catholic Schools for the Diocese of Sioux Falls, to help facilitate meetings as we studied the brand power of Sioux Falls Catholic School in the city of Sioux Falls and the surrounding areas of Sioux Falls, as well as those not familiar with our school system. We held focus groups, and those focus groups consisted of donors, alumni, current families, employees, and other stakeholders. Our goal in those focus groups and throughout our research was to look and reflect on our system across the city, and do people recognize that we are a cohesive educational system, preschool through high school? That we're, regardless of where you are in the city, whether you're on the east side in our elementary schools, in the center part of the city, or on the west side, you're receiving an excellent education that will prepare you for what is to come when you step on the O'Gorman campus. Secondly, we wanted to have experience with our families from the standpoint of, do people recognize our system, whether you're a kindergartner or fourth grader, and do they realize that our system brings kids to this campus from our elementary schools? We have an extraordinary Catholic school system that has the support of many, and we are a very important part of the city of Sioux Falls, but we are so much more than just the city of Sioux Falls. Which brings us to our third point, as to why we look to rebrand. And that is, Sioux Falls Catholic Schools is so much larger and so much broader than just the Sioux Falls community and population. We have students attending our schools as far north as Madison, South Dakota. We have students attending our schools as far west as Canastota. Students come to us for as far south as Worthing and Parker. And we have students attending our schools from Beaver Creek, Minnesota. So our school system is broad in nature, and we wanted to look at the brand power of our current name and try to find a name that would resonate across the greater Sioux Falls community and region. And so, I'd like to formally announce a name change of our system from Sioux Falls Catholic Schools to Bishop O'Gorman Catholic Schools. We are so pleased to share that our namesake, Bishop O'Gorman, the state's second bishop, was a true visionary in the late 1800s and early 1900s. During his 25-year tenure in the Diocese of Sioux Falls, he increased the number of priests, he increased the number of Catholics, he built numerous churches, schools, and hospitals. And he also dedicated our beloved St. Joseph Cathedral in 1919, which so happens to be celebrating this week its 100-year celebration. Education was extremely important to Bishop O'Gorman, and because of his extraordinary commitments to Catholic education, we stand here today proud and stronger than ever as a Catholic school system. In addition, today being May 1st, is especially meaningful because Bishop O'Gorman was installed as bishop on May 1st, 1896. O'Gorman Junior High and O'Gorman High School in Sioux Falls are named in his honor. It is fitting that we announce the name of our Catholic school system, Bishop O'Gorman Catholic Schools, on the anniversary of his installation as bishop. But yet, even more important, on his birthday. May 1st is also his birthday. We're especially honored this morning to welcome members of Bishop O'Gorman's family who are here with us today, including his great-nephew, Paul O'Gorman, who lives in the Twin Cities. Would you please help me welcome Paul O'Gorman?
Unlike the previous speaker, I'm not real polished at this sort of thing, but I'll do my best. Good morning on this wonderful occasion to all you people. Thank you to the administration, the faculty, staff, parents, members of the community, and most importantly, all the students for having me here for this event. My name is Paul O'Gorman. The members of my family are direct descendants of Bishop Thomas O'Gorman's parents. Bishop O'Gorman was my grandfather's uncle, and Bishop O'Gorman baptized my father. Here with me today are my son Patrick, and his son would be my grandson Ryan. Will you please stand up and my other son, Peter, and his son, Mathis. Now, Bishop O'Gorman's legacy lives on with a lifetime devoted to education, health care, and of course expanding the Catholic Church here in this diocese. It was not that long ago that the bishop was actually here celebrating Mass in your beautiful, gorgeous cathedral, which I've got to go visit again since it's been redone. I did not see it since then, but anyhow. You know, when he was 10 years old, he and his friend John Ireland were chosen by Bishop Cretan in St. Paul to go to France because they wanted to be priests. They said they would be priests, and he sent them to a seminary in France. And both the boys studied in France, and they became lifelong friends, of course. And I even have some pictures here of the two of them together early on and of course, later on as well, after they were bishops. Besides the fact that he was a bishop, he was also a student. Most importantly, a student. He was always a student all in his life. He was a teacher, he was a professor, he was an administrator, president of a college, and the founder of Columbus College. As a lifelong student, Thomas O'Gorman studied hard in France, and besides English, he also mastered French, Spanish, and of course Latin. He was a serious student. He was gifted with intelligence and, most importantly, tenacity. Something that everyone needs. After his ordination as a priest, he was a pastor of Rochester, Minnesota. He was a mission priest for many of the rural communities. He was later assigned pastor in Faribault and became the canonical administrator of the schools, parish schools there. He was asked to teach theology at St. Thomas Seminary and was later appointed as the first president of St. Thomas College in St. Paul, Minnesota. Years later, he was appointed professor of the dogmatic theology in the Catholic University in Washington, D.C. And though he never sought to be a statesman, after the Spanish-American War, he was asked by President Theodore Roosevelt to go to Rome as a member of the Taft Commission to represent the American Catholic Church in negotiating in the Philippine Islands and settle any disputes that there was. We've studied the history of the life of Bishop Thomas O'Gorman, and we all want to live up to his high standards, and that's not easy. But no great contributions to this world are easy. We can only imagine the joy that Bishop O'Gorman would feel today that his name and his legacy of his dedication to education are enshrined at Bishop O'Gorman Catholic Schools. It is recreated every day by a group of outstanding educators, families, dedicated students affiliated with the school to help achieve the educational goals and those envisioned by Bishop O'Gorman. And that's what it really is all about, isn't it? Building a place where each student has the right tool, guided by compassionate educators who truly care, and resources to push students to achieve greatness in life in God's name. Bishop O'Gorman Catholic Schools are just such a place. Now, we as the O'Gorman family are extremely proud and honored to have our names associated with this excellence in Catholic education. I suspect if Bishop O'Gorman were here today, he would personally bless this educational system and, most importantly, all of the students. And I want to thank you again for inviting me here today, and blessings to the O'Gorman family. Our prayers go out to you, and we hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much, Paul. We are truly honored to have the O'Gorman family join us this morning. I should also point out that as Paul mentioned, there's many artifacts that the family have kept over hundreds of years of information about Bishop O'Gorman that are sitting here before us. The chair that you see there is 150 years old at least, according to the family, if not older, of the bishop's chair. As we wrap up, I'd like to personally thank all of you here today, and those tuning in via live stream, and hundreds of people on the various committees who helped get us to this point today. To the media with us here today, thank you for coming, and we welcome you to come forward if you'd like to interview any of today's speakers, including the O'Gorman family. Students here with us, you are now officially students of Bishop O'Gorman Catholic Schools. One thing we do well in Catholic schools is we like to feed students. And so we've got some cookies to help celebrate this big announcement. But you've also been hanging on to some rolled up t-shirts. Go ahead, open them up, put them on, show your pride for our very own Bishop O'Gorman Catholic Schools. And go Knights!
Thank you.